This video is sponsored by Squarespace. So I was eating at the Plaid Apron, which is one of my neighborhood places here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and they served me like the best vegetable side I've had in a long time. I think it's good enough to work as a main dish if you have good bread to soak up that jus. This dish is by the Plaid Apron's PM chef, Jose Rosario. Hi, Jose. And it stars these beautiful little shishito peppers from Japan. Jose calls them Russian roulette peppers.
About 1 in every 10 or 20 is going to be a little more spicier than the rest.
But on balance, they're very mild peppers, which is why he's leaving the seeds and the ribs intact. Then he's going to French a red onion, cut it into wedges, pole to pole. He's not actually going to use all of that, FYI. And then a big yellow heirloom tomato from Zavel's family farm, great East Tennessee farm. You need a really good, really ripe tomato because it's barely going to be cooked at all. Big chunks. The secret ingredient is Plaid Apron's house-made roasted garlic butter. We can approximate that at home, and their house seasoning blend is salt, pepper, and juniper. Only other thing is some olive oil for a very hot pan. Jose wants to see it starting to smoke, and then in goes at most half of that red onion to get a head start. Exciting! Like a minute later, Jose drops in the peppers. He just wants to soften them a little, taste for seasoning, enough oil to make sure he gets some browning on the edges. 2 minutes after the peppers went in, here come the tomatoes, and they'll just get a minute, some of the house seasoning. Jose doesn't want to cook the tomatoes much at all, just get them hot. 30 seconds later, he has turned off the heat because it is time to melt in that garlic butter, a big spoonful. This is why restaurant food tastes good. The heat is off because Jose doesn't want to break the natural emulsion of the butter. If he doesn't let it boil, it will emulsify with the tomato juice and make a thick, delicious sauce. Adjust the seasoning and we're done. Garnish with the parsley if you want. And the best thing is the juice that accumulates in the bowl. I was dipping my steak in that when I ate here the other night. To approximate Jose's dish at home, we'll first need roasted garlic for the garlic butter. Cut a head in half along the equator, oil it inside and out to help transfer heat in there and wrap it up tight in foil. I always feel stupid heating up the entire oven to roast a garlic, so I'm gonna try it in the tabletop convection oven, default settings. Need to soften a couple sticks of butter. You can leave them on the counter for a few hours or just take them to the microwave, give them 10 seconds, rotate them to help them heat more evenly and give them like another 10 seconds max. And by then, they really should be soft enough to squish. Just do it a little bit at a time and stop before any melting happens. Half an hour later, the garlic cloves are soft, sweet, and golden. Let that cool. I'll chop up a handful of parsley, nice and fine. At Plaid Apron, they use parsley and tarragon. They also saute some minced shallots for the butter, but I'm simplifying things. Parsley in the bowl. Now that it's cooled, I can squeeze the roasted garlic out like toothpaste. You could, of course, make the butter with minced raw garlic, but you'd only need like a single clove, much more pungent. The roasted stuff is mild and sweet. Get that paper out. Softened butter goes in. Every time I microwave butter on the internet, a chef somewhere freaks out, but as you can see, empirically, it works. Time to season, and remember, at the restaurant they do pepper and juniper, so hey, I'll throw a few juniper berries in my pepper grinder. That's always nice anyway. Lots of spice, a little salt because this is already salted butter, and then Jose whips the butter for a long time to work lots of air into it, which serves as an insulator so the butter is less likely to melt in a hot kitchen. Fluffiness also makes the butter softer when it's coming straight out of the fridge, so it's wins all around. In the fridge that goes for the flavor to mature for a while. It gets better and better. Peel and French a red onion, again, half of it at most, slicing longitudinally, which gets you prettier wedges than if you slice along the latitudes. I was fully prepared to talk about how banana peppers would be a great grocery store substitute for these shishito peppers, but then there they were at the normal grocery store. Whichever growers association manipulated me into making this video, you deserve the W. That was a long con you ran on me. The first time I had this at the restaurant, they simply cut the peppers in half rather than slicing them. I think I prefer those halves. Makes the dish feel more substantial. Plus, I like it whenever an ingredient can look more like its whole self in the dish. It obviously doesn't have to be a yellow tomato, but they had a nice one at the store. Really big chunks. I don't want this to break down into tomato sauce. Just one cross-cut along the equator there. The compound butter is smelling amazing. The leftovers will be awesome on bread or in other sauces. sauces, and you can freeze it. Heat my olive oil to smoking in the pan, and in goes the onions first because they need the most time. After a minute, I see them starting to soften, so in go the peppers. Again, my heat is full blast because I'm introducing a lot of mass into the pan that is going to steal heat, and I want to get some color on those peppers while they're still crunchy. I can tell I need a little more oil to do that. Get some seasoning on these pieces, and really, as soon as I see those pepper chunks visibly softening a little, I know that they'll be soft enough by the time we're actually eating. In the tomato chunks go, just to get hot and to get their juices starting to run. A minute is all they need. Then I'll kill the heat because it's time to gently melt in the butter. If you've got the butter too hot, it would break. Instead of looking like a thick, creamy sauce, it would just look like dollops of grease in tomato juice. Juice which will keep running out as this sits in the bowl and you eat it. Man, it just tastes like a whole summer garden in your mouth. And as you get through it, you collect more and more of that jus at the bottom. Need some bread for that. Chavy, the baker at Plaid Apron, makes these sourdough boulets with this crackly blistered skin. We will eat the rest of this with the leftover garlic butter. Anyway, that juice that collects at the bottom of this dish is just transcendent. It's like a vegetarian version of the sop that you would get in a bowl of mussels mariniere, and I am a connoisseur of sop. Could I turn my passion into a business? Well, if anybody can get me there, it's Squarespace, the easiest way to make and run a website, be it a personal portfolio site or a professional site where you take appointments, or a paywalled publication, or an online store. It's all easier than ever with Squarespace. Just tell the computer basically what you need. It starts you off at the 50-yard line. Click to change things, drag to move them, click the plus to add a section that you need. It really is that easy. And you can play with all of this for free. When you're ready to take your site live, Squarespace will host your site for you. They'll help you process any payments or send out invoices, help you promote your site, everything. They'll register your domain for you. When it's time for you to pay for any of that, just do you and me both a favor and enter my code Ragusia at checkout. Ragusia at checkout. You'll save 10%. Thank you, Squarespace. And let's see, thank you to the Nightshade family. You feel you're well represented here, I trust?